And so we shall continue reading Danganronpa IF today, ladies and gents. Things are starting to become pretty interesting here. We're already having like changes that will actually, change the outcome of what will happen. Now, I am gonna assume that a different killing is gonna happen soon enough. That isn't gonna involve Sayaka or Makoto, or who knows? I guess we shall see. While they were talking, Kiyotaka Ishimaru, the ultimate moral compass, stepped forward, pointing an accusatory finger at Makoto. "You're late, Makoto! Explain why you were tardy!" God damn it. I do miss you, Taka. The other students collectively raised their eyebrows, as if they were thinking, why is this guy yelling at someone who was sick? However, Makoto just smiled gently and answered him honestly. I didn't feel well, so I was resting in the nurse's office. Can you note that in the daily logbook? Wait, what? Can you note that in the daily logbook? What does that mean? I see! That's consistent with my information. If that's the case, then I should consider this matter settled. Then I shall consider this matter settled. The conversation progressed smoothly, and Taka smiled as he kept talking. I'll take full responsibility for recording it. You just focus on recovering. If you ever feel ill, please report to the health committee. It seems we'll need to appoint health committee members after this meeting, though. Taka walked away, mumbling to himself as he opened the daily logbook. Oh, I guess he has a daily logbook. He found it in the academy's supply room. Celestia Ludenberg, the ultimate gambler, saw the whole conversation and walked up to Makoto. Oh. Well, what's up, my dear Celeste? Despite his unreasonable behavior, you knew exactly what to say to him. Huh? As soon as Celeste said that, it dawned on Makoto. Wait, what? It's true that he didn't feel well, and that he had been resting in the nurse's office. But when Taka asked him why he was late, even though he should have already known the reason, Makoto didn't feel annoyed or disappointed at all. It was as if he expected Taka to say that. Makoto felt strange that he had accepted Taka's personality so quickly. He couldn't understand why he asked Taka to do something as unnecessary as recording it in the daily logbook in the first place. Oh! So that's why it felt so strange. I mean, it was the first time I ever heard that myself. If Makoto doesn't remember, like, Makoto shouldn't even remember that Taka had like a thing, like a daily logbook. But yeah, apparently Taka has. Where did Makoto learn about that? Unless he's slowly remembering it. Why did I say that? It's like I was used to it. His response to Taka's demands came as naturally to him as breathing. I guess I can understand that. If he were to talk to somebody like Taka for like the first time, and him yelling in your ears like that, then yeah, you would feel a little bit annoyed at first, but yeah, it came as natural for you this time around. And I think that Celeste is picking that up as well. Why? Why? Yeah. First was talking to Junko, and now this? First, it was the feeling of Makoto talking to somebody else that wasn't Junko, and now this. Every time he tried to think about it, his headache grew even worse. As Makoto struggled to think through the pain of his headache. A black and white stuffed animal jumped out from behind the gym's podium and began twirling around as it spoke in a cheerful voice. Hey guys! Is everyone here? It sounded like he was about to lead the students on a field trip. but not a single one of them had a smile on their faces. What is it this time? Are we gonna hijack a cruise ship and run into a gigantic worm? What? Are we gonna hijack a cruise ship and run into a gigantic worm? Or maybe ride like a gigantic worm, like in Dune? Of course, there was one exception. Yasuhiro Hagakure, the ultimate clairvoyant, still believed that their current situation was some kind of planned event. Ah yeah, I do remember. Monokuma just ignored him, and continued to address the students with his adorable voice. Oh, so I guess that was Yasuhiro that said that? Today, I'm going to tell you about our wonderful academy system. System sure sounds like a great word, don't you think? It reeks of danger, just like a bear! I want you all to tremble over the deaths of your friends, and grow up to have hardened hearts. It's good to be a little naughty. I want you all to grow poisonous personalities. After making his nonsensical introduction, Monokuma moved on to the next topic. With this, he began providing a detailed explanation of the most vile system in the school. The class trial. No, you cannot just kill someone. You gotta kill someone without anyone else finding out you did it. Monokuma talked about his horrible graduation program with casual indifference. But because the killing hadn't happened yet, his lecture didn't instill any despair in the students. Oh wow. Yeah, totally. Now here is something very interesting that I'm gonna have to talk about, ladies and gents. But yeah, it's like Makoto said, a killing hasn't happened yet. And he is talking about this graduation program or something like that, like the class trial system, when no killing has happened yet, so it doesn't instill that much despair yet. But in the first killing game, he explained the class trial system after somebody died. Which is pretty interesting, because going back to what Sayaka did in the first killing game, she tried to kill somebody before knowing full well about this class trial system. She knew that that she just had to kill somebody, and because of that she would escape, all easy peasy. But it's not as simple as that. And now knowing that she had that in mind before Monokuma explained the class trial system, it makes it less like horrifying. I mean, Sayaka didn't know that she would also have to go through the class trial in order for her to have victory and escape and all that. Which is pretty interesting when I think about it, and it does add to Sayaka's description if you were to try and describe her and her personality and all that, and all of her actions. I think that plays a big role in her character. Maybe. I'm just saying. Even though we're still talking about killing here, of course, and killing is always bad, but you do have to take that in mind as well when you are gonna think about Sayaka, that she killed somebody without even knowing the class trial system. As long as the killing never occurred, there'd be no point to the class trial, but no one could really say that the killing wasn't going to happen. As the students' suspicions began to rise, Monokuma continued explaining the class trial until... Wait, hold on a second. As Monokuma began to explain the executions that would serve as punishment, one girl stepped forward. Junko? Junko? Oh boy, here we go. As soon as he saw how angry she was, the rhythm of Makoto's headache began to change slightly. You're freaking insane, you know that? Huh? The girl continued to complain angrily. She seemed completely different from the smiling person Makoto saw in the nurse's office. Huh? Huh? Was Junko always like that? No, she's different. That's how Junko acts, but is that person really Junko? Oh. Huh? Wait, what am I thinking? As Makoto struggled with his headache and confusion, Monokuma and the girl continued to argue. What? Are you saying you're not gonna participate in the trial?
Only punishment awaits such blasphemy. What? But punishment? I might, I don't know, throw you in a deep, dark, scary prison or something.
Different. And the strange feeling he felt was now directed at Monokuma. A prison? No, they aren't that kind. A series of images flashed in Makoto's mind, and at first he thought it was some kind of parade. But he quickly realized that was a mistake. What looked like lights were actually buildings engulfed in flames. The red decorating this scene seemed to have come from human bodies. Despair. It wasn't confined to the academy, or even to Japan. Images of worldwide death and destruction flooded Makoto's brain, with every throb of his headache. I've seen this before? Oh, Makoto is remembering it! Oh god! Besides the indescribable violence taking place in all these images, there was one thing they had in common. Who are they? They are rampaging terrorists wearing black and white masks. Were wreaking havoc in these images. They took everything. Money, valuables, lives, families, dignity, the past, the future, and possibly even hope. The masks these terrorists were wearing perfectly resembled the face of the stuffed animal arguing with the student before him.
Shut the hell up! Say whatever you want, I'm not gonna be part of this! Oh, don't be so selfish! You're the one being selfish. Kill whoever you want, it's got nothing to do with me. Oh, the evil standing here before me! I'm trembling with fear! But I won't give in to such evil. It's my style to stick it out and resist till the very end. If you really want to get out here, you have to go through me first!
Monokuma swung his arms wildly as he charged at the girl with waddling steps. But the girl stomped on the self-proclaimed headmaster of the academy with ease. Oh no. Mukuro! No!
Ugh. Are you enjoying yourself now?
Pinned beneath the girl's foot, Monokuma looked up into the girl's cold eyes and calmly asked,
Are you? Huh? Violence against Headmaster Monokuma is not allowed. You violated a school regulation.
At that moment, a chill ran down Makoto's spine. She's going to get killed. Monokuma's words sounded very threatening to him. It wasn't a prediction or a guess. It was as if he knew the danger Monokuma posed from the start. If this continues, Junko's going to... His mind still didn't fully grasp the situation unfolding in front of him. By the time he realized he was about to remember something, he was already running forward. Junko? The impact of his feet combined with the rhythm of his headache, sending his brain and heart into a panic. No, she's different. She's...
I invoke the mighty summon spell! Help! To me, godly spear Gungnir!
Monokuma wiggled beneath the girl's foot and let out a scream. At that exact moment, Makoto charged at her and screamed out, Mukuro! Watch out!
Huh?
The girl dressed as Junko and Oshima widened her eyes in shock.
Oh!
As if to evade the charging Makoto, she jumped back with agility unheard of in a teenage high school girl. Oh my god! Oh man! Oh, she dodged it! She's... oh my god, she's no longer gonna die! And then, right at that moment, countless spears pierced the spot where she had been standing just a split second ago. Yep, Mukuro didn't expect this to happen. She was thinking that she was actually gonna fall she was thinking that she was actually gonna fall, like, somewhere, and make it look like she died. Whereas she was thinking that she's still gonna survive, but no. She was actually gonna be betrayed by Junko there. But now she's... Huh? All the students, including the girl, stared wide-eyed at this sudden turn of events. spears, too many of them to count, had shot out with blinding speed from mechanisms installed in the floor and walls of the gym. However, Makoto was unable to notice this. Huh? Why did I call Junko Mukuro? Mukuro? As that thought entered his mind, a sharp, sudden impact struck his side, followed by an intense, deathly pain that ran down his spine and spread through his entire body. Oh no! Don't tell me that! Oh my god. The spear stabbed into his side, instantly tore his flesh to shreds, and shot out his back, coated in blood and other bodily fluids. Oh my god, no! Don't tell me that Makoto is gonna die here! At that moment, the black fog that had engulfed Makoto's mind was consumed by death itself. And as his consciousness slowly faded, he remembered everything. Because of the electric jolt and the mechanical compound from the escape button, because of that button that he had found by chance, Makoto Naegi managed to escape. He escaped this hopeless game where he and his fellow students had their memories stolen, and were forced to kill each other. Of course, the escape is also what led him to his current life or death predicament. In the end, perhaps he only escaped from one despair, to fall into another. But at the same time, his actions had unintended consequences for one person. The girl living a false identity as her beloved little sister, Junko Enoshima, Mukuro Ikosaba, the ultimate soldier, and the member of the ultimate despair. Her past, her future, perhaps even her hope itself, are on the path to despair. And so, the curtain falls on Makoto's story for now. From this point, the story is about a certain girl. A girl who's more pitiful than anyone else in this sealed-off academy. A new curtain, along with new despair, shall now rise. Oh man, does that mean that we're gonna read this from her perspective? Holy god.
Huh?
Time had suddenly stopped for Mukuro Ikosaba. It was as if everything around her had frozen perfectly still. Yep. She heard Makoto say her name, her real name. In the past, she was known as the ultimate soldier. She had experienced this feeling before, during her time with the mercenary group Fenrir. In situations where she was surrounded by a hopeless number of enemies, within the jungle or in a desert ruin. The charging enemies seemed as though they were frozen in time, which allowed her to claim a decisive victory in all her battles. But this wasn't a battlefield, so why did this familiar sensation activate once again? In order to understand what had happened, Mukuro slowly tried to assess the current situation from within this frozen world. Junko and Mukuro are both children of despair, but Junko Enoshima, the true ultimate despair, harbors a far deeper darkness within her. Though their last names are different, Mukuro is Junko's older sister, connected by the bonds of blood. She cooperated with Junko's hopeless plan and impersonated her under the pretense of participating in a killing game alongside her classmates. According to the plan, Mukuro was supposed to oppose Monokuma, who her sister was controlling, and be locked in a dungeon as punishment. Isolated from the others, she would then escape the dungeon and perform various acts intended to deprive the students of hope. Yep, that was the plan. That was the role she had been assigned. When Makoto succumbed to his headache, Junko ordered her to see if the shock had caused him to remember anything that could make him a liability. He woke up as she was standing to him, so she made small talk with him, but she didn't notice any change in his behavior. Until this point, she was certain that there shouldn't be any problems. Nothing could possibly go wrong. She stomped on Monokuma like her sister ordered her to do, and flawlessly spoke the lines she was taught to memorize. Afterward, she would fall through a trapdoor into the dungeon, and remain isolated from the other students. That was her role. She hadn't done anything wrong. There were no problems. There were no problems. She repeated that to herself over and over like a silent prayer. But in that frozen moment in time, what she saw was not a trapdoor, but countless spears. One of them had skewered Makoto through his side. Why? Makoto? Why are there spears? Got me? I would have died if I hadn't moved. Did Junko mess up the plan? No, Junko would never mess up. Was he trying to kill me? Me? Makoto saved me? Why? Why did he say my name? Did his memories come back? Did I not realize that? Did I make a mistake? Is that why Junko got angry? Is this punishment? Is it my fault? Junko tried to kill me. Kill me. Slowly, time came back to her world. Mukuro could feel her face turn pale as she slowly looked toward Makoto. The students' screams rang throughout the gym. Sayaka was probably the first one to scream. But who screamed first didn't matter to Mukuro. Makoto. Why? Makoto was the ultimate lucky student. He had been her classmate for the past 2 years, and now he was a sacrifice to despair. Not long ago, he had given her an answer of sorts during their conversation in the nurse's office. He was just a pawn in a plan her sister had devised. But now, a feeling of doubt began forming in Mukuro's mind. What did I want from Makoto? As her heart churned restlessly, she continued to think. In return, I promise that if I do decide to kill someone, it won't be you. Was I impersonating Junko then? Or did I really mean that? When did I start feeling this doubt? Just now, the moment he saved me? Or when we spoke in the nurse's office earlier? Or when I first confronted him about this killing game, before his memories returned? Or was it before even that? Mukuro stood there, confused and overwhelmed. As Makoto slowly opened his eyes, the spear still impeding him through the side. Makoto. Makoto, are you okay? Mukuro was no longer impersonating the ultimate fashionista. Looking up from the floor of the gym, Makoto asked, Why are you dressed up like Junko? He was smiling. Maybe he couldn't feel the pain anymore, or maybe he was being affected by something else. But regardless, Makoto ignored the fact that he was dying just to give Makoto his warm smile. I'm glad you're safe, Mukuro. As soon as she heard Makoto's weak, fading voice, something inside Mukuro snapped. From within the shell of despair she had built up, an intense emotion began flowing out. No, this is all wrong. She couldn't hold back that emotion any longer. No. And for the first time in her entire life, Mukuro unleashed a scream into the world. Oh boy. As Mukuro fell to her knees and clutched her head, a small shadow started walking toward her back. The stuffed animal that had been under her foot, Monokuma. His claws were extended, and he was no longer walking with his usual waddle. Instead, he moved like a beast, silently stalking its prey as he slowly advanced within his target's blind spot. As he inched closer to Mukuro, Monokuma raised his razor-sharp claws, crouched on his haunches, and suddenly, leapt toward the back of her neck. However, just before those claws could reach the paralyzed Mukuro, a dark shadow moved in from the side and swatted those claws away with one blow. His lunge deflected. Monokuma was sent flying through the air, spinning wildly before crashing into the wall. Oh! Could that be it?
Damn you! What are you trying to do?
Sakura Ogami, the ultimate martial artist, had just prevented another tragedy. She stood before Monokuma and addressed him in a loud, booming voice. Oh yeah! Sakura, you go, girl! Keep in mind that she was also the spy in the first Killing game, and now she's confronting the mastermind.
Not only did you attempt to kill Junko for violating school regulations, you even attacked Makoto, who had nothing to do with this. If you plan to continue acting in such a savage manner, there is no reason for us to play along with your game.
Byakuya Togami, the ultimate F1 progeny, smirked condescendingly at Sakura. Fool. One could say you've now violated school regulations with your senseless actions. Byakuya Togami. He looked as if he honestly did not care if his fellow students lived or died at all. Well, she merely deflected the headmaster's attack just now, so I do not think it truly counts as an act of violence. Like Byakuya, Celeste seemed unfazed as she chided him over his words. However, the banter between the two was enough to stir the stunned students to action.
Makoto!
Sayaka was the first one to run toward Makoto, who lay bleeding from his stomach. But Monokuma stopped her, shouting in a tone of voice that seemed completely out of character.
Be careful. Don't get too close to those two! Huh?
Startled by Monokuma's desperate tone, Sayaka and the others stopped moving almost instinctively. The students looked around at each other. Instead of his usual playful gait, Monokuma walked toward them with deliberate, methodical steps. And then, he suddenly blurted out something that took everyone, including Mukuro Ikusaba, by surprise.
I'm sure you're probably confused by this sudden turn of events, but I want you guys to work together.
As Mukuro slowly turned her head toward Monokuma, he pointed at her and yelled,
Mukuro Ikusaba and her accomplice Makoto Naegi are the terrorists responsible for locking you all inside the academy!
Once again, time stopped for Mukuro. Oh my god. Junko is actually doing this. She just keeps going. But this time, she wasn't the only one affected. Everyone seemed to be frozen in shock. After a few seconds of silence, Aoi Asahina, the ultimate swimming pro, spoke first.
Huh? You're kidding, right? I mean, Makoto is a terrorist? That's impossible!
Aw, you fucking sack of shit. Junko. Now you're gonna accuse Makoto and Mukuro of being the terrorists responsible for this. What a load of bullshit.
And who's Mukuro anyway? I mean, that's Junko.
Monokuma began slowly explaining to Aoi.
The real Junko must be in prison somewhere in the school.
Worst case scenario,
she might be killed. Mukuro must have researched which one of you would be easiest for her to impersonate, and hid among you all by pretending to be her. She was probably trying to make sure the killing game went smoothly.
Suddenly, Monokuma's hands and feet began jerking in an awkward motion as he looked at the other students and introduced himself.
I am Beshiki Madarai, the ultimate hacker. I'm your
What?
I'm your upperclassman. I hacked into the academy from the outside, and I was finally able to take control of Monokuma's body just a little while ago.
Take control? From who?
From the head of the terrorist organization that's controlling this robot from the outside.
What? Are you kidding me, Junko?
What are you saying, Junko?
Mukuro trembled as she heard the words coming out of Monokuma's mouth. Uh-oh! Uh-oh! It's the Popos! It's the Monokuma Popos! Coming to save the day! Oh no! To bring despair! Okay, they're gone. But yep, Mukuro is being surprised at what Junko is doing right now. Now Junko is accusing Mukuro of being the terrorist. This must be pretty painful for her. For a brief moment, she clung to the hope that her sister wasn't trying to kill her. But as soon as that hope was born, it was immediately consumed by despair. Junko had the power to transform hope into despair. She would never let anyone hack her that easily. There was only one explanation. Junko Enoshima was pretending to be someone named Beishiki in order to frame Mukuro and Makoto. I do have to wonder if that is actually the name of somebody real in the Danganronpa universe, or it's a totally fake name that came out of nowhere. It was as though Junko was using Mukuro's survival as a branching path to lead the students to a different despair. Oh my god. Monokuma continued talking, telling the students more lies designed to prod them to action.
On your first day at Hoxby Academy, you guys were exposed to sleeping gas, knocked unconscious, and taken hostage. Mukuro and Makoto are probably the only operatives the terrorists sent inside the school. That means they probably know how to escape from here.
And then Monokuma turned to face Mukuro.
Mukuro Ikusawa was a member of a mercenary group called Fenrir. She's a wanted criminal who's killed over 10 people associated with the school. So don't get soft and think you can capture her alive. In fact, that's exactly what the cops told me. So the moment I saw an opening, I tried hacking the trap they set and tried to kill her. But what about Makoto?
Monokuma gave a cold, emotionless answer to Sayaka's question.
My guess is that a measly little ultimate lucky student didn't stand a chance of defying a group like Fenrir. He was probably threatened and forced to cooperate before you entered the school, or, judging from his earlier actions, maybe Mukuro seduced him.
Sayaka's face went pale when she heard that answer, and she immediately stopped talking. Mukuro seduced him? Oh, how dare she!
He is my cutie patootie.
Mukuro raised her head and shouted.
You're wrong. Makoto isn't a terrorist. You all have to believe me.
The whole gym fell silent. And then, as if he was suspecting for everyone there, Taka stepped forward and nervously asked, Hold on! What do you mean Makoto isn't a terrorist? Ugh, you're fucking serious. It sounds like you're saying that there's no doubt that you, in fact, are a terrorist. I ask that you correct yourself at once and say, we're not terrorists. Celeste began expressing her own doubts as well.
It is strange. Does it not seem odd that she is so protective of someone we all just met a few days ago?
God damn it, Taka and Celeste, for you being so smart. Mukuro stood in silence. The other students' faces began to fill with suspicion and doubt as they realized they weren't looking at the real Junko Enoshima. Byakuya pushed up his glass. No, I think that's glass. Byakuya pushed up his glasses and began coldly pointing out what seemed out of place to him. I heard that fool Makoto, or whatever his name is, call you Mukuro instead of Junko. How would Makoto know that your name is really Mukuro if he just met you not that long ago?
That's...
I've also heard of Fenrir, continued Byakuya. As I recall, its members have a tattoo somewhere on their body. Instinctively, Byakuya's words put Mukuro into a calm state of mind. In hostile situations, her defensive reflexes as the ultimate soldier often manifested themselves. Mukuro's tattoo was on the back of her right hand. She wondered how she could hide this from the other students without also calling attention to it. But in the end, this concern was in vain. If the police's records are true, she should have a tattoo on the back of her right hand. As Monokuma freely divulged that information. Okay, that was Monokuma. Alright, cried Taka, his voice filled with enthusiasm. Show us the back of your right hand and prove your innocence! Monokuma dispensed another unnecessary mark.
Make sure you look real close. She might have covered it up with foundation.
Junko had ordered Mukuro to hide her tattoo with foundation, so Monokuma's information was entirely true. There was nothing Mukuro could do except stay quiet. Oh god, what is Mukuro gonna do now? Oh man. However, she wasn't staying quiet because her identity was about to be exposed. She was struck by the realization that her sister was completely serious about pinning this on her. She is realizing that Junko is betraying her right now.